On August 26, 1998, Jonathan Cathrine was attacked by a shark while boogie boarding in the waters off of Stinson Beach. Cathrine was bitten on his right leg and required immediate surgery to repair the damage. He was hospitalized for a week and missed a month of school. The now 24-year-old Cathrine has founded a nonprofit organization that specializes in teaching nonviolent conflict resolution to children. He has written a book about his attack, Don't Fear the Shark.
I was about 50 yards offshore, and I had paddled out with a friend, and I had a wetsuit on and he didn't. So after maybe 20 minutes of being in the water, he got cold, got out, headed straight into the main lifeguard tower where we were waiting for some other friends to arrive and meet us. And I was paddling parallel with the beach along the shore, and my right hand hit something underwater. And my mind really went through all the possibilities of what that could have been. I thought seal, jellyfish. Funny enough, I actually thought maybe that's a big pile of sand underneath me. It was a rough but somewhat soft, wet-feeling solid object, sort of like wet sand. And then I had this funny image of a pile of sand in my mind and realized that couldn't have been it. I was in about 7 feet of water and realized that I needed to get out of there. I started to think maybe it could be a shark. And so I headed to shore as fast as I could, but just couldn't get to shore fast enough.
Suddenly, something slams him from below.
The shark came up from beneath me on my right side, lifted me up and brought me underwater. And as it was swimming underwater, I decided that I couldn't fight it off, but what I could do was hold on to it. Well, I quickly found out it was actually too big to reach my arms around and even hold on to. And so I opened my eyes and saw these giant gill slits, and I grabbed on. And as soon as I grabbed on, it let go.
As sudden as the attack, the shark releases Jonathan. Still attached to his board by a leash, he climbs on and begins to paddle to shore. But with the first kick, he realizes something is wrong.
I couldn't kick my right leg. I knew it was still there, but I couldn't kick it because my quadricep, right above my kneecap, was completely severed. So I swam in basically using everything but my right leg.
Jonathan's friend and nearby lifeguards help him to shore and wait until medical assistance arrives. At the hospital, Jonathan undergoes just under 7 hours of surgery, requiring hundreds of stitches to reconnect severed muscles, repair his crushed knee, and close his wounds.
Since then, you have really an amazing, even perhaps in some ways a more amazing story than the shark attack.
Everybody I've ever known who's had a story like this, a near-death, a tragic experience like this, has talked about having learned something from it, gaining some lessons from it. I would suppose you have similar meaning from this.
Yeah, I've learned that I won't ever give up when I set my mind to something, and if I don't give up, that I can achieve anything I want to achieve, and I think that's a lesson for anybody, that we have the ability to do more than we think we can do. But I learned a lot about relationships, and my family and all my friends and people that I didn't realize were even friends came around me, and it really just encouraged me.
This is your family right here?
Yeah, family. This is at a event kind of promoting work with children.
You've started a wonderful organization. Let's talk about that a little bit.
So after graduating from UC Berkeley, Jonathan started the nonprofit Future Leaders for Peace, taking his message of peace and conflict resolution to Bay Area schools.
So sometimes you have to forgive people, and that's what I learned too.
Jonathan wrote a book about his experience called Don't Fear the Shark. He says the message is really about human relationships and how we treat each other, as well as the environment.
The shark, since it didn't know that it was a human, thought it was food, so it tried to bite it.
And maybe it was just a big accident.
Jonathan's workshops focus on goal setting, problem solving, honesty, and compassion. Kindergarten teacher Teresa Lum says Jonathan's message is important for even her youngest students.
So I believe that when they have these skills, they're able to go out into the world. They have some tools to better prepare themselves for for the real world and for life.
And older students, from middle to high school, can relate to Jonathan's story of sudden life-altering violence and that life is fragile.
John Gray, author of Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, has this little blurb here that says, an insightful story that motivates us to nurture our relationships and respect the world around us.
Crime is almost done by, mostly done by teenagers, and they don't go to school, they do crime, so it's a very big problem here.
They don't understand what they are going through, because if you're committing crime near the age of 16, you will be a criminal all of your life.
We teach basically communication skills. That's the primary thing. But we teach people to respect each other. We teach them to communicate. And then we teach them, if something's getting out of control, to get out of there, that they don't need to stick around when something's getting out of control. So it really comes back to communication skills.
Jonathan has an amazing story that basically began from a shark attack at Stinson Beach, 1998.
That's right.
If you're just now joining us. Future Leaders for Peace, there's a wonderful website at flfp.org. And do you go into schools and speak to kids about your experiences?
We go to schools, youth groups, all sorts of youth organizations around the Bay Area, and actually in Hawaii, which is another good place to surf. It works out perfectly.
Do you still get in the water?
I do still get in the water. I'm a lot more careful about it, and I've learned about the buddy system.
Yeah, no kidding. So you've taken this, really sort of tragic event and made it into a wonderful, positive thing for not only you, but others.
I think it's a story that draws people in, and then it gives me the opportunity to teach them a little bit more, and especially with young kids. It gets their attention, and then I can get on to some more universal sorts of issues.